Here we go again. And one more time, let's try it again. Hello everybody, can you hear me now? I am so sorry about the technical difficulties. I thought I heard everything working good. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody see me? All right, we are broadcasting live from, actually, it's Mount Vernon, Wisconsin. It's a little town up in the hills of Wisconsin. I'm I don't know what you call me. I'll try to explain it a little bit tonight just so you can get to know me a little bit better. I'm glad that we could get the live streaming going again. If you see that right now, if you see the Wormwood placard, my little branding, my little logo here, the logo that I put together one day. I am so glad to have you all here tonight with me. I'm going to just make it a couple minutes here before we get launched into it so we can have some of our guests here. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know a little bit about me. I'm living out of the, like I said, the little town of Mount Vernon. I live on a farm. I have 3 horses. I have a 250-foot granite well and fresh water. I have about 280 acres under my management, 8 that I live on. It's started. Alrighty. Alright, I think we got enough to get going here so everybody can kind of hopefully let your friends know if they missed something or if they missed part of this, whatever, we can get on with it. So hopefully you'll get a little tongue-in-cheek out of this, guys. I don't know when it became a bad thing to love Jesus Christ, but I'm going to put it out there. I get a lot of criticism for it on the channel. So the Zetas have Nancy. The Ananite guy have Marshall, who I think is a subscriber. And, I think maybe Jesus Christ has something to say about this event. I think the book of Revelation that was written by his apostle that he loved had something to say about it. And you know what? I am about figuring it out together. So I'm not saying that I'm against any of the Zetas or the Anunnaki or anybody else. You guys do what you need to do. I'm here to talk about this event, how it relates to biblical prophecy and theology. I'm going to talk about Jesus sometimes. There's a lot to see right now. I'm not trying to piss anybody off, okay? Great. So I think we've got an understanding there. All right, let's move on to the next idea. This is me and my best buddy Charlie, okay? I'm not your typical Christian anyway. If I walked into most churches, I'd get kicked out in 3 days. Man, I'm too wild for people. And here's what makes me radical, because I actually believe what Jesus said and I hear his voice. And some of the things he tells me about you all out there is that we got to be tolerant with each other. The first thing I'm going to tell you right now, we have to be tolerant with people that believe, or if they're Muslim or Jewish, or if they're atheists, or if they're debunkers. We have to try to be tolerant. I get pissed off at my buddy Dunker all the time, but I still love him, man. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's move on. So here's what I believe what we have to be really thinking about as we get into this tonight. And I really want to talk about collaboration, and I want to look at the whole idea of corroboration again. So if you watched any of my videos, I'm a big guy on corroboration. The idea that there's a lot of different places and things and people and different ways we can see this thing, and if they all kind of point to the same thing, then we got to start to scratch our heads a little bit and think, well, maybe this is real. And I'm going to tell you a story about myself. About back in May, my birthday is on May 27th, and my birthday happened, and I was watching the computer that day, and I was watching some Joe Rogan thing, and we got onto Graham Hancock, and Graham Hancock led on to me seeing somebody talking about Nibiru, right? And so I went out with my welding glasses dutifully in my hand, and sure enough, I caught a picture of Nibiru. At least I thought I did. And as a lot of the debunkers will show, if you just put your finger over the sun, that little dot, those little lens flares will go away. But anyway, I thought it was real, man. I thought it was the planet Nemesis, Wormwood from the Bible. So I jumped in my truck, and I drove an hour away to one of my favorite people in the world, who is a very, I'll call him embittered Christian. I come running into his house, and the thing about my friend, and I'll call him Tom, my friend Tom, is that he's an astronomer. He's a professional astronomer, or an amateur astronomer with professional credentials. And he calmed me down. He said, "You didn't photograph anything but a lens flare," and blah, blah, blah. Go home. And I felt as embarrassed, and I put my tail between my legs. And next thing you know, I was, I forgot all about it. But I still listen to people like Marshall Masters and Bob Fletcher and all these different guys. And turns out that that it started to appear in different photographs, and then I started to catch on to a couple of people that were actually pulling together some pretty interesting stuff. And then I started looking to the all sky cams myself, and I started to look at all kinds of different places where it was coming to me from. And then one day I looked down into the South Pole, and boom, I saw that big ring and that triangle and those planets, and I looked at my wife, who was sitting in the chair right next to me, and I said, "Honey, it's real. I got to do something." I got struck like I was struck by thunder. And there was two things that it occurred to me right away, that if we're going to overcome the man or the system or whatever, I think we're going to need to collaborate as well. And I think we need to share information, and I'd like to be one of the places where information gets shared and redistributed again. So just to kind of look at a couple of things, these are just things that I've gotten from my friends and family across the time, like Smith DeMista and Jeff P. and a couple of the other folks that we look at. I really, really love those guys, right? And we share stuff behind the scenes. I don't know if you guys know this, but we all talk to each other. One of the funniest people in the world, I think, is Chris Potter. One day I was listening to a Chris Potter video when I was out in my horse barn drinking coffee, and I literally snotted through my nose. He made me laugh so hard. And then you say, why are you laughing about this? This is pretty damn serious. You know what? I know it's serious, and I'm on Mondays every day about it, and I'm sad about it. But at the same time, we've got some stuff coming in. So from a corroboration perspective, I'm getting a lot of feedback and a lot of pictures. But the pictures that are really starting to really floor me are the ones we're getting for the Skycam with the circle and the dots. We're going to look at some of that stuff tonight together as we talk together. So here's a couple pictures that really stunned me in the last couple of days, and we can discuss. And I'd like you guys to get your thoughts on this right now. And so this was an independent photograph taken a couple of weeks ago by a person that wishes to remain anonymous from their cell phone. And this is a picture that I took, I think 2 days ago, and it was in a webcam to Mexico, and I got a similar looking type of object or refraction of the object. Okay, yeah, I totally agree on Chris Potter, by the way. But you can see the this planet. What do you guys all think of this? Let's get some feedback. Let's get something going here. Tell me what you think of what we captured here. Is that a planet that's not supposed to be here? What is it? Any comments on what we're looking at here, this object? Oh, we got to have some feedback on this. This is a photograph that I took the other day, and check this out, man. It actually blocks the rays of the sun. What the heck, right? and it appears to be behind some of the rays and in front of the other ones, which indicates that it's right on top of it. I don't know. And then we see see these other kind of objects. And everybody, if you can see Dunker talking, D-U-N, what is he? D5NCR up here on the he's like a government troll or something, man. He chases people around, and so just ignore his comments. I told him that if he could come on tonight and be with us, if he could ask polite questions, and he just can't do it. So I'm sorry, he's just gonna have to be ignored. So anyway, we've got these things. So here's some of the ideas. Some people think CERN might have something to do with it. I don't know, man. I think CERN has gotten too much credit for for the phenomenon that we're seeing right now. And I can't tell you if CERN's got that much, if that's really got that much punching power to really affect solar flares and stuff like that. But a lot of folks like BP Earthwatch think so. Any other thoughts on what we're seeing here other than what D5 said? Quest goes, my brother. What's going on? A spherical drone with little helicopter blades. Alright, I'm down. Alright, so let's go to the next one here. This one came to me from California, I think yesterday. And again, we're seeing this ominous blue dot, and we're seeing this ominous circle or red cloud. And I'm watching some people that are watching and seeing the clouds, and part of what the chemtrails seem to be doing is blending lenticular clouds that we see in the sky, which I think is an interesting theory. I know they're spraying stuff up in there, and I think if you don't admit that, I don't think I can talk to you, because if you can't just look up in any especially any western skies like Italy or Australia or even the South Pole, they're spraying chemicals in the South Pole. Why are they spraying the South Pole? I don't get it. Anyway, so this is this interesting photograph that we saw from California. So let's go on to the next image. So this is kind of an ominous thing. This comes from Missouri, and this is the time-lapse composite image on the all Skycam in I think Warrensburg, Missouri. And the reason I pulled this out as a unique thing to look at is because this ominous dot is showing up in these certain time frames, and we're starting to see these dots above the sun and above the moon in different times. I can't say if I'm seeing a planet or some kind of reflection sometimes, but this is ominous because check this out, man. I mean, this looks like, again, some representation of that, that blue dot that we see in the South Pole in the red cloud. So what do you guys think about that? Jay Cruz says he saw that image on all Skycam. Yeah, absolutely, Jay. All right, let's take a look at another one. Here's another composite. This one is from, I think, the same place. But the thing that was interesting about this particular time and capture was I'm starting to see these red or very bright D2 dots, I guess, for lack of a better word. I don't know if they're planets or if they're, suns or what they are. Has anybody else been seeing this this phenomenon where when you see the sun setting, you see two orbs above it that are brightly lit, and then we can see from the composite image there's some kind of a refraction or reflection that goes around all these North American cameras during the day, and it's a little disturbing, quite frankly, to me. Quest Ghost, don't go because you're my friend, man. I love you. Don't leave just because of stupid dunker bunker. So has anybody seen this double dot kind of above the sun phenomenon? Looks like Lorky712 got a lot of these images. Well, hey man, go check my email out if you want to share them with me. I'd be glad to pass them on to folks. Let me see those because I'd like to see how many we can pull together that kind of show this right now, because I think that this is a change from what we've seen before, where it was more behind the sun. I don't know, but that's what I think. What do you guys think? All right, let's take another look at another image that I had ready for tonight to look at. So here are these close-ups, and honestly, guys, I try to keep a calm voice when I'm talking about this stuff, and I try to keep a calm demeanor when I'm talking about this stuff, but I do understand what it means. I was raised, man, on space, and I was raised on Star Trek and Apollo and Skylab and the whole thing, man. I mean, I know the basics of planetary motion and all that kind of stuff. I actually learned things like that in physics, right? And so when I see this double dot in Canada that looks exactly the same as the double dot, and I'm calling it the double dot because I don't know what else to call it, above the sun, from two different locations in the same expression, that's what I call corroboration. Okay? So I'm looking at it from two different locations and seeing the same damn thing. So that blue dot is there, right? So I blew up this portion of the Skycam photo, and you can see this thing right here, and you can also see the sun and this this dot. But this is a common expression too. And I want to point out another thing too, is that we see this lenticular cloud structure oftentimes through the Skycams. At first I thought we might have been looking at some kind of a manufacturing defect in the lens or something like that. But what it ends up, I think, being is I think we're looking right into the red cloud, I guess, iron oxide cloud structure. That's kind of what I think. Stacy asks us, why are they hiding this from us? Man, I got 1,000 reasons why they want to hide this from us. So let me talk about it for a second. The first reason that I think they're trying to hide it from us, first and foremost, and guys, again, you got to just put up with my Jesus talk, man, because he talks to me. I really do believe that God did say that we were going to see signs and wonders in the last days prior to his coming. And I think this whole spraying and trying to hide all of this from the public is all about trying to make God a liar. How do you like that one? So I think this is more of a spiritual war and a spiritual physical war than people realize. The second thing is, if they let people know, and I agree, with Eyes Open, number 37, thanks for the comment, that if they really made it widely known, I think that there would be mayhem and panic and the society would shut down. But I remember Art Bell's show back from '94, I think some dude escaped from S4 or whatever the hell over at Groom Lake and comes out screaming that we've got time to move people away from the coast and all this other stuff, and they're interdimensional beings. Does anybody ever hear that one from Art Bell where that guy gets on there and is like trying to warn the world of something? Anybody hear that one? I don't know, right? So, this is that expression again, right? So we're going to talk about the truth of impending events. This is what I'm going to be all about and we'll do these shows regularly, and I'm happy to answer any questions about about the Bible or about Wormwood or about any of that stuff, right? So I'm all open to that stuff. So we're getting some kind of different shots. We'll just talk about it a little bit if you guys want to look at them with me. So here's this Acapulco shot with this extremely weird sun that we see from all these webcams in Mexico. And just incredible, it just doesn't look like a normal sun. And then some say that these orbs or whatever, which are probably flashes more than anything, could be possible other, I don't know, who knows? Who knows? There's the one for California we looked at. Here's an interesting perspective I took where it shows the perspective if you're looking down up in Missouri. And that's just an incredible, incredible image, man. And then here's even a kind of a more intense representation of it, where you can actually see a really clear shot of these two really bright orbs above the sun. And then I saw one from the Persian Gulf somebody sent me, where it was a little bit more of a, it looked like a view that maybe was closer to the equator, and it was just like it was scary looking, man. And I know when things start shaking and baking, man, I'm going to be the most terrified person of everybody. I know it, but I just think it's better to warn people than it is to be quiet about it. Oh, it's my favorite Nibiru research buddy in the world, WTF Sky. What's up, WTF Sky? So somebody asked me the question, why can't we see the orbs when we go outside? I think that's a fair question, because I look for them too. And there's kind of two answers, I think, that we can look at there. And I think the thing you have to think about is the idea of refraction. So I think that there's a lot of chemicals being sprayed in the atmosphere that stay up there and cause a refraction of light effect, similar to the video that I put out there a couple weeks ago, or a couple days ago, where it showed the airplane flying over the clouds, and it looked like the light was like banging up and down underneath the clouds and not making it out from the clouds. Do you remember that video? And again, so what I think we're seeing is a refraction effect, quite frankly. I think these things are actually, from what I can see in the South Pole, are actually below the sun. Let me show you what I mean here. Let me try to get the little photograph about refraction once. And so the light that was seen from refraction is so dim that the cameras which are stationary have the ability to pick up the light where a human eye cannot, right? So let's take a look at, let me pull this up here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I took a still of it. Just give me a second here. I'm going to find this image because I think it's really interesting, and we need to think about refraction of light. And you know, one of the things that I think I'll just go to the video and grab it real quick here, because I think I had it in a previous slideshow here. Let me just see if I got that one really quick here. Yeah, let's go to this real quick, this slide. So you guys remember when I was like talking about the light refraction the other day? And, you know, again, I think great question. Why can't we see this stuff with the naked eye? Well, here, I mean, we see this chemtrails are clearly obfuscating what's being seen. I don't even know where the sun is half the time. I don't know about you guys. But the light refraction in here, in this particular case, let's say that this was the Nibiru system or the Wormwood system, and it was up from below the sun, okay? So we're getting refracted light coming over us, and this is the medium is water. So you can actually calculate what the best chemicals would be to cause the maximum light refraction necessary to obfuscate what's in the sky. And you'll notice when the chemtrails are out and when the planes are out, there's something usually to hide up there, and they go thick. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to refract the light away from us. And that's why I think that we can't see it with the naked eye all the time, because it's getting covered up. And a lot of people now, frankly, are seeing it with the naked eye. So we just got a good comment from Baron Long. Yeah, I know. I've been noticing a lot of really red sunsets in Wisconsin lately too. I don't know if you guys saw the sunrise photo that I had a couple weeks ago or a couple days ago, where it showed the red oxide cloud being basically illuminated by the sun at sunrise. So think about light refraction when you're looking at some of these images, and hopefully that will help you a little bit to think it through. Oh man, check it out. RT, man, check it out, man. I love it. We are spirits, and we are having a human experience. I totally agree with that. I don't know how you can be any kind of spiritual person and think that human beings are meant to be on this planet forever. So, yeah, I agree. I think we're just stuck in little flesh bombs. We're here for whatever purpose, and then we go home. That's what I believe. So yeah, love each other gives us a hey, welcome, love each other. Love to see you here. Dylan Martin shows a video in Canada, Three Suns. Yeah, yep. Seeing circles between the suns. I think love each other. I think that those circles between the suns are an expression of the iron oxide cloud and the lenticular cloud structure. Yeah, I do think Abe the Hero Wormwood is close enough for that light to refract. I think it's giving off its own light, plus it's having reflected light from the sun. So it's a very dim object, but it's and companions, when they get in the right position, they're becoming pretty easy to see, quite frankly. Now, why don't they move more? I mean, I've had a lot of I've looked at the movement. Now, it does definitely appear that the images are getting closer, both in Norfolk and here in Missouri in the United States. But I can't tell you what direction. I'm not an astronomer to the level where I can tell you. I can just tell you I'm seeing this stuff, you know. JJ913, sky cams in the ISSV cannot be trusted. Okay. Look, I want to talk about the tools that we get to use doing this, right? So I try to use and learn and try to become proficient in using as many tools as I can look at the sky with, and there's really no way for us to know if we're being deceived or not by looking at H1 or Core 2 images from stereo, or if we're looking at weather maps, or if we're looking at satellite imagery from the ESA or from the Russian Space Federation, or if we're looking at photographs from people on the ground. This is the best we got. And I can only tell you that I see this in my own skies. I see it in my own backyard. I see everything happening in front of me, and I see it online. And I don't know what else to use as tools. So one of the things that I think debunkers try to do a lot of times, they're saying, "Oh, you can't use Skycam because that's not a good instrument for looking at the sky." Shut up, man! It's made for looking at the sky. How stupid are you for saying that? Dumbass! Wow. You can't use the sky cams to look at the sky? What are you smoking? You know? So anyway, I think we're looking at some light refraction here, and I think that it's designed light refraction. So it's not necessarily going to be a 30-degree angle like we saw refracted through water. I think whatever medium that they've chosen to use can refract it at any angle that the medium, the properties of the medium would change the frequency of the light. So that's what I think. So, any other questions or anything, man? Because we can look at some other stuff here, just hanging out with each other. Here, I don't think I'd be doing my friend Shill Killer any favors unless I showed you guys this one. I think this is from the Netherlands, and Shilly was out taking a photo. And if you haven't looked at Shill's stuff, one of the recent things that he looked at that he saw, which I thought was pretty interesting, was this red planet on the ISS footage. And again, man, don't tell me I can't use ISS footage for evidence. That's like saying, a football player can't use his shoulder pads, man. Okay, we need to be able to use some tools. I mean, if the only thing we can actually rely on is the most expert astronomers in the world, and if they don't concur with what we're saying, that we're somehow full of crap, I think is just an absolutely unfair and completely evil argument. It's basically trying to say you're stupid and you don't have a right to talk about this stuff, and I have every right to talk about this stuff, right? So one of the things that I've been really studying a lot of the lens flares and a lot of the reflective properties of what's going on in different things that we see from different photographs. And I'd like to open this up too. So we know about light reflection and refraction and lens flares. One of the big things I've noticed about debunkers is they just want to say lens flares have no data. So if you have something that is clearly a lens flare but is odd or different or misshapen or weird, it's automatically not evidence to look at. And I think that that's just a crock of crap too, because why in the hell am I getting all these just bright red expressions and clouds and flares that have strange, like, quite frankly, Thunderbolt project shape, plasma clouds and things like that. So, all right, eyes wide open. I am open to every opinion, as long as it's polite and it comes from the direction of trying to learn more about this stuff. I'm open to all your feedback, because it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of us together with a lot of evidence as it starts to come out for people to even consider what we're saying. And here we are at that one in Vancouver, BC, Canada. This is the actual shot. It was yesterday at 11:57, but it was at Pacific time. But yeah, this seems to be whenever I get to see the blue object and then followed by this one, it seems like this is a moon or some type of a object that's like floating around this other object. Moon, orbiting it. Pretty interesting stuff. Pretty scary stuff. See if I can find some images that I had from earlier that are interesting. From the one from Saudi Arabia is the one, or I think somewhere in Arabia is the one that got me. So you notice how this one actually shows, I don't know if it's a reflection, refraction, or what it is, but it's that same two light objects above the sun, and then the red, hue around everything again. Yeah, so just got a question. Let's go here. So, yeah, I think that we are looking at Nibiru. I think that Nibiru is an orbiting planet of another star or stars. I'm not sure what's happening in this interaction between our sun and this other star. But I mean, let me show you something. I just can't get over this stuff when I look at this. Let's just go. I want to show you some Core 2 stuff that I had a couple days ago. So when you look at these Core 2 photos, and you look at what's been, when you look at these Core 2 photos in the last several weeks, months, you see this anvil when they show it. When it's clear, there's this little anvil out there that nobody can explain, and then you got this like little hoppy thing. Even Thor News makes fun of it, like he calls it a jumpy baby or something like that. I don't know what he calls it, but it's just one of these things where it's like this thing down here. I'm convinced there's something happening behind the sun where I don't think that they're telling us the truth about it. I just don't. And then this more recent image where when you looked at if you saw one of my more recent videos, this thing kind of comes out of the back here of the plane of the sun, or the plane of the inner solar system, and I don't know what it is. Okay, it's not identified. Has anybody seen this get identified yet from H1? You geniuses out there, what is this? Okay, yeah, I know this is Earth. What is this? What is it? Yeah, here's Dunker. The anvil's fiber on the lens. Oh, it's a lens flare. It's a lens flare. It's fiber on the lens. And then they put the filter up, and all of a sudden it disappears. Oh, the fiber disappeared. The fiber disappeared. Yeah, it's gone. The other thing that's interesting about this is it moves across the the plane of the H1 view is it lights up sometimes and it doesn't light up in other times. It's pretty funny behavior for that. So just a couple other things I was thinking about. Let's see what else I can show you guys that would be fun. I'm going to go back to this one again because I'd like somebody to tell me. That's a lens flare. Is this a lens flare, anybody? Can somebody tell me this is a lens flare? This is the one from Hawaii from last week. And I still look at this every day and just go, holy crap. It's close, man. It is close. But anyway, this lady gets out of her car in Hawaii thinking that she's seeing a beautiful red and orange sunset as is evidence behind the sun. Or whatever, whatever light bearing source that is right these days. So anyway, she snaps a quick photo of it, drives off. When she looks at it later, this is the photo that she collects. I don't know what that is. Do you guys? What? Right? So again, the camera being more sensitive than the naked human eye was able to pick up these, very, very, and again, not a retouched photo in any way, shape, or form, not photoshopped or anything. This is the copy of the original, photograph. Just crazy. So, let's see what else we can look at. So let's spend a couple seconds on, I'm going to show you how you can see images, especially when you're looking from off Skycam or any of the telescopes that are looking straight up, right? So whenever the sun is over, like Brazil, where we've got a couple of the Skycams and we capture this constantly from Brazil, the refraction light or whatever we're looking at, or when the sun is directly over Australia, that's when we get the most vivid images of refracted light or red balls or bright lights inside of red cloud structures, I think is what we're looking at. So I can't have a live session without looking at some Davis shots, because we haven't really talked about that yet tonight. This is the one from the 18th, and as you can see, this is the South Davis webcam from looking from the South Pole directly below the Earth. And what you can see is this ring and these planets, this one seemingly having wings, and then this like triangle down here. Now if you haven't seen any of my videos, I talk a lot about this because it's like a freaky thing, and it's strange. And what's most strange about it, I think, is the fact that it looks like the Illuminati symbol. And it's is that a coincidence? I don't know. Is this an ancient passed down traditional thing? I don't know, right? So anyway, this 18th image. So what do you guys think? I'd like to hear some of your answers on this. What do you guys think that triangle is, man? Or what do you think this ring is with the blue dot in the middle and the seeming moon orbiting this object here? Let's see if I can find a more recent picture from Davis and pull that up so we can really take a good look at it together. I think I just took a couple today. Let's see here. Davis capture. Here it is on I think it was the 28th. But again, what was interesting about the 28th capture is there's the ring and what I think to be, possibly a star, possibly a dwarf star. And then the triangle is in the background. It's a little fainter on this day. Again, I don't Photoshop anything. The reason I liked this image so much was because it actually shows, I think, the moon going around this other object. So what do you guys think this stuff is? ZZ ZXZRPO, I do, yeah, this is life reflecting from weather balloons. Come on, man, this is scary, man. Somebody support me. Oh man, every time I'll tell you something, and I love, you know what, Nicholas Piello, I appreciate the comment. I do not have to be a photographer to take a screenshot from a webcam and say I'm seeing some damn weird thing up in the sky straight up. I mean, this, I'm not a professional photographer bullshit. I'm getting a little bit sick of it, to be quite honest. We don't have to be professional anything, man. We can learn anything. It's the age of the internet. You know what I mean? But look at this stuff. So what do you guys think this triangle is? I'm still looking for somebody to give me a legitimate explanation of what that is. And by the way, if you say lens guts, I might have to reach through and choke you. Because I proved that it's not lens guts with the images that I took the other day. What do you guys think the triangle is? Answer that question. Okay, Amazing Bible Secrets revealed. Hi, Steve. I think those are planets. The triangle is not from the camera because the clouds cover the part of the triangle when they go in front. Yes, that's exactly correct. Amazing. Jay Cruz thinks it could be the coming of the Anunnaki. Or one theory that I think is plausible is that this, because it doesn't really change that much, could it be part of this cloud structure? And if so, why is it this shape? I don't know. Still thinking it through. Come on, I need somebody. Yeah, those are lens guts. Karen, thank you, Karen, for that tongue-in-cheek little comment right there. What do you guys think of this one? Have you guys seen? Let's ask this question. Have you guys seen or been taking any images of this little moon? So we see the blue one and the red, circle from several different vantage points, as we've talked about. But has anybody also seen this planet, which seems to have a moon? Some people think it might be some kind of an object orbiting a pulsar or something. I don't know. Dree Quinn asks, I saw a triangle. Have you seen the triangle in other cameras? Well, yeah, I have seen them in other cameras. I especially have seen them in Chilean cameras. I'd have to dig up the image, but I'm going to do a whole special on the triangle. And then I also saw a guy, and I can't remember his name, was actually doing a lot of the same work I'm doing, but he's doing it with his own camera and his own astronomy equipment. Actually did capture a big triangle that matches the one that we're looking at, and I'm seeing if he'll give me a photograph of that. You know what? I agree, man. Margie Clark, she brings up, at least the ancients didn't have to put up the chemtrails. No doubt, man. They saw this stuff coming from a long time ago, a long time before it came. So if you listen to Gil Brizard, he thinks it comes every couple hundred years or whatever he thinks. He thinks it was part of what caused the great famines in Egypt. And they speculated that they could see this thing coming from, 7 years away, kind of. Another thing I want to comment on this too is as soon as I saw the Davis Skycam, I ran out and started like just hyper buying stuff and going a little bit crazy. I want everybody to stay calm, okay? I don't know how long it's going to take for this to develop. I really honestly don't know. I listened to Tyrell Blackstar. He's saying that we're going to go into this outside orbital position relative to Wormwood, and it's going to cause some problems in the March to February March time frame. I'm not sure if that's when we're going to actually see it, but I do think that 2016, 2017, it's going to get weirder and weirder. That's for dang sure. And I think we're going to wake up one morning shaken, and that's what I think is going to happen. I think we're all going to learn about it when the ground starts to shake, because the Earth's supposed to get whacked pretty hard by this thing, man. So that's what I think. Thanks, Wade. That's exactly what Gil thinks. He thinks every 360 years. I am personally in the camp that I think it comes around a little bit less often. J. Cruz, you believe that all the prophecies are coming together, and the Bible talks about the fifth trumpet. There will be a star with the Apollyon to open the gates, and you believe this is the beginning of this. I think there's some credibility to what you're saying there from a theological point of view, from an eschatology point of view. It definitely looks like we are seeing the fulfillment of the trumpets in the book of Revelation, and that's one prophetical view of this event. And I think it's as legitimate as anything else, Hopi, Indian, or Sumerian. So stop putting down my Jesus. Just because you don't know him doesn't mean that I can't love him. Yeah, I think it's the 3,600 year cycle as well. I think a lot of people are stuck in the 3,600 year cycle. I kind of lean towards it because I don't think this thing is moving that fast. I think it's moving faster than what they expected. I think it's moving at a great velocity. But again, things are distant in space, and it takes a while for things to get together. You know? That's right, Deidre. Deidre Moore. Don't pick on our Jesus, man. So Connor Mack, if I told my parents about this, they would laugh and not believe me. I don't think the reason that people are waking up to this right now, and like I said, I've woken up to it only since May of 2015. So I've been looking at this for a while. Okay, not compared to my colleagues that have been looking at it since 2007, 2005. I mean, you got some people that have been watching it for a while. Let alone the story that we heard from the Hubble guy that talked about watching it on the Hubble Space Telescope. I don't know if you ever heard that. I think Back to Constitution has the full play on that one if you want to look at it, if you want to go look at it. Oh, what if the ring? What if the big ring is actually the outline of the star? Well, then I think that would be horrible. I think it would be really bad. It's already bad, but that's bad. That would be really bad. So Hubble 1D, yeah, I'll take a look at the link, but some of the stars in the Milky Way are not single stars, but have like a binary or triplet or kind of rotate around each other. I have heard that, and I'm kind of what you'd call as an kind of a amateur astronomer and an amateur physics guy, astrophysics guy. I like to read about it. I like to think about it, and yeah, I've heard of that before too. Paco, thank you for your comment. I'm sure something is coming. The weather, climate changes, say anything that anyone needs to know. You know what? I do. I agree with that. I think these weather changes that we're seeing, I think they're trying to hold it off somewhat with the chemtrailing or maybe some weather manipulation that people talk about. I think that's all possible and plausible. However, the weather is scary, and I think we do have to be prepared for high winds and have a shelter ready where that can sustain high winds and have some supplies in there, and if you're so fortunate to have oxygen or something in there as well. It's never a bad idea to do stuff like that. Wade, in ancient times they had no number zero. You know what though, in England if you get on an elevator you're on the 0th floor. I can't say 0th. Mickey Ray, have you considered CERN's multiplication of our magnetosphere in conjunction with the Nibiru's near miss to potentially draw an actual collision? I don't know, man. That sounds pretty freaking, Dr. Evil to me. I don't know if they would have. I don't think these forces. I don't think we have the power to stop these forces. I don't think there's any technology that can stop a sun from moving in its orbit. I don't think there's any technology that can stop a planet from coming at us yet. I think CERN definitely is, evil, suspicious at the very least. I don't know why they're trying to smash these things together to see gluons and all that kind of stuff. Why can't they just stay with theoretical physics? We can't get into the fourth dimension in physics experimentation. We already know that we have to come up with a whole new theoretical physics model in order to understand multiple dimensions. So let's just let it ride, man. I don't know if we'll have to come up with a different way than experimentation to figure this stuff out. And I think CERN is just a reach. to try to break into interdimensional physics, and it just takes too big of a machine and too much power to do it. And there's no freaking way that we're going to stop a planet or a sun from coming at us. If it's going to go through, it's going to go through, and I think everybody knows it. ZXZRP, thank you for the comment. Yes, there are 7 billion people. The Bible says that 2/3 die from the events that are going to be happening as a part of this event, and that's why I think it's sobering. I think it needs to be talked about. I wanted to go back to the comment about somebody talking about their parents laughing at them. I got to come back to this one. I don't talk to my family about it, and the reason I don't talk to my family about it or friends about it, unless they're open to it, is because I'm seeing it because I'm going to be prepared, I believe. I think we're going to be a prepared group that's going to know what's happening and know which way to direct people and point people. And I don't think the place to point people when this starts hitting the fan, I don't think the place to be pointing people is going to be to FEMA camps. I think we need to point people to refugee camps where people like me have water wells 250 foot deep that are going to be clean, Arctic water, and try to help each other and communitize as much as possible. The way we're going to get through this is together. The way that we're going to get through this is holding our hands. The way we're going to get through this is to be able to hold the hands of our brothers and sisters and not judge each other, quite frankly. That's where I'm at on that. So let's see. Motley Crue. I guess I better enjoy my Corvette before shit hits the fan. Oh, I'm sorry. Shouldn't swear. My bad. Yeah. Well, I've got a Firebird, and we've got a A-frame sitting out there. What is that? A Cutlass, 72 Cutlass, and we're rebuilding those two cars. And I can't tell you how I think about that a lot as we're tinkering away at these things. That we might get a delay in our work on that. So I'd say, go enjoy life every day. Now, I think one of the messages of this thing is to say, as we have a day, another day where I can go to the coffee shop and get a coffee, or I got another day where I can go to the market, or I got another day where I can be with my family, is to enjoy, and the reminder of this is to enjoy each day as sweetly as possible. Enjoy every benefit, enjoy every moment, enjoy every breath of fresh air. That's what I think the meaning of this is for people that know, is that it's going to create a longing for us to know God better, to have our spiritual house in order, and to, quite frankly, be helpers to other people. That's what I'm about here. And right now it's about educating the community of people that are interested in this subject as best as I can with the tools that we've got. If we can get better tools, or we can get better photos, or we can collaborate more as a group, let's do it. Send me your photos, man. I put my email right out there. All right, so I think we've had a successful first broadcast of the WSO Friday night broadcast. I'd like to try to do it every Friday night as long as we can use the internet. And I wanted to say goodbye to everybody and just tell you that I am praying for all of you. I hope you pray for me too, in whatever way you do that. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful evening and a great weekend, and look for my next video. I really appreciated your time.